the reason why I wanted to go into the military was my grandfather was a World War II hero, and he was a hero. He served in North Africa, he served in Italy, he served in the D-Day landings. He was Sergeant Major in the Royal Engineers, and he was and he would go out and defuse mines, tank traps, and stuff like that. And I always wanted to be in the military, and the military was also a way of me escaping my life because it was a horrible life. I just didn't feel any sort of connection or like that I mattered to my family. I didn't feel any self-worth for them. But then when I enlisted for the army, for that whole year I trained before I went on my selection weekend in Lichfield in Staffordshire, I had a purpose. I had someone who was paying attention to me. I had someone who was listening to me and was saying to me, look, these goals are important. You can better yourself. And that's what I did. And over that year, while I was training to get ready for my selection, I'd have to go away for 2 or 3 days where I'd be tested to see if I met the criteria and I was good enough to go in the army. That meant running. That meant getting really physically fit. That meant getting mentally fit. And I was buzzing. And I never forget, I went to Lichfield. It's no longer there now. And I got there 6:30 off the coach in the morning. We all lined up, and straight away I thought, this is what I want, the army life. And it was just that camaraderie. I met people on there and I passed with flying colours, and I never forget it. And I thought, oh, this is going to be a changing point in my life. I was discharged because I had some scarring on my lungs. I was in the Welsh Guards, I was in the infantry, and they were concerned that I wouldn't be able at some point to maintain my fitness and I could put other soldiers at risk. And so they decided to discharge me. After I got discharged, I went through a really bad time. I felt abandoned again. I felt like, what more could they have done to keep me in? I felt I had no purpose. I felt, what am I going to do with myself? And I just wanted to get away from my life. I hated it. I was a nobody in that. I was insignificant. My conversations with veterans, a lot of them don't want to talk about what's happened when they've been on deployment or they've been serving. A lot of veterans talked about the impact that's had on their families, and they've never actually talked about how that was for them, how they feel separated from their service. And those conversations, you never get time for yourself because being in the military is very rigid, and you don't get time to think about yourself. You always think about the team and others, and you never get a chance to just reflect and actually think, what about me? What Talk Club can do, and what the beauty of Talk Club is this: it's neutral. It's just neutral. Anyone can come. Veterans shouldn't have the normal veterans club. Just come to our club. Just come and sit down with other men and talk about how they feel. That it is a way forward, and that I'm not on my own. The one positive thing about my mental health and the stuff I've been through is it's made me connect with myself. I'm starting to connect with myself as a person, starting to know where I'm going, what my purpose is, how can I help, and challenging these thoughts and these feelings and helping other men to do that. If I can do it, they can do it. That's the difference with Talk Club. That's why it works. You don't expect to go to Talk Club and get relationships, but you do, because you learn, in some respect, you become fond of the people you're with. And what we're doing is informal learning, because there's no advice given. But when you listen to other men, your problem is not halved. There's 8 men you're sharing that problem with. And they're just listening, and then they talk about their problem. And it's more than just a club. It's a place where we share what's happened to us, but inadvertently we can take out from that the learnings. I would say, for me, when I feel those uncontrollable emotions, and I listen to another man saying he has a similar thing, when something else happens, that makes me think, I get that, maybe I could do that a bit differently. But no advice is ever given. My relationship with those men is a community. It's just men talking and sharing. It's a really good thing. And because it's structured and it's safe and there's boundaries, see, because a lot of men, like, we need to feel safe. And if we're going to be vulnerable, we got our boundaries. You have to have boundaries. Talk Up gives you boundaries, helps you feel safe.